Welcome, everyone. We're diving deep into Quranic sciences today.
Sounds exciting.
It is. But we're not doing a general overview this time.
Oh.
Yeah, we're focusing on how this field developed its own unique systems.
Ah, like looking behind the scenes. How'd they build that framework?
Exactly. And get this, the Qur'an is special compared to other religious texts.
How so?
It's been so meticulously preserved.
I see.
The one we have now is almost identical to the one from over 1,400 years ago.
Ah.
Pretty amazing.
Right. And that dedication to preserving the text really shaped Quranic science.
Definitely. It wasn't just about protection, but understanding it on a whole other level.
Absolutely.
So how did early scholars even begin to tackle that? I mean, the Quran's a big text.
Well, they realized that to really grasp it, they needed to break it down.
Okay, so not just reading it cover to cover.
Right. They started categorizing different aspects, creating specialized branches of study.
Like modern science with its distinct disciplines.
Exactly. A systematic framework. Each branch focusing on a specific aspect of the Quran. Like, for example, the concept of Mushafa.
Mushafa.
Yeah. It shows that early systematic approach. It refers to the meticulous efforts to compile and verify the text under Caliph Abu Bakr.
So they were basically creating a structured way to engage with the Quran, a blueprint for future generations.
Yeah.
What kind of branches did they develop?
Oh, there's several, each focusing on a unique dimension. One is revelation and descent.
Revelation and descent.
Yeah, it dives into how the Quran was revealed to Prophet Muhammad. Scholars look at the historical context, the language nuances. They even debate the interpretations of the word nuzul.
Nuzul.
It refers to the Quran's descent.
Oh, wow. So much depth from just one word. So that branch focuses on the historical setting. What else?
Then there's the history of the Mushaf.
History of the Mushaf.
Yeah, it traces how the Quranic text was compiled, preserved, passed down through generations.
It's about ensuring the Quran's authenticity.
Exactly.
Fascinating. What other branches are there?
Readings, or qira'at, is a really interesting one. It explores the different accepted ways of reciting the Quran.
Wait, really? I always thought there's just one correct way to recite it.
Well, it's more nuanced than that. There are variations in pronunciation, intonation, but they all fall within specific boundaries.
Oh, I never knew that. So how did these different readings even come about?
They often reflect regional dialects, but don't actually change the core message, like the word eb, meaning grapes. Yeah, it caused some confusion during Caliph Umar's time. It was from a different dialect than the standard Qurayshi Arabic.
Oh, I see. So language plays a crucial role in understanding the Quran.
It definitely does. It's not just the literal words, but the nuances, the cultural context.
Absolutely. What other branches did they have?
Well, there's linguistics and semantics, a crucial branch. It dives into the intricate language of the Quran.
So we're talking about the nuts and bolts of the language itself.
Exactly. They analyze vocabulary, grammar, literary style.
To uncover deeper meaning.
Yes. And they even have a term, Gharibul Quran. It refers to those rare, obscure words that are hard to interpret.
Wow, they really were meticulous.
They were. And that led to unique approaches within Quranic sciences, things that set it apart from other fields.
Well, like what?
Well, one of the most distinctive aspects is tafsir, which is Quranic exegesis.
Tafsir?
Yeah, going beyond just translating the words to understanding the deeper meaning, the context.
So it's a more multi-layered analysis. What are the tools they use for that?
Two key pillars. First, there's dirayat. That's a close textual analysis.
So looking at the language itself, the structure, the literary devices?
Exactly. Using the Qur'an as the primary source.
Makes sense. What's the other pillar?
Ruwayat. That's using prophetic traditions, the sayings of the companions, to interpret the Qur'an.
Oh, so bringing in outside historical context.
Right. The idea is that those closest to the prophet had invaluable insights into his teachings.
Interesting. Did they ever incorporate other outside sources into their analysis?
Actually, yes. They dealt with something called Israeliyat, stories and narratives from Jewish or Christian sources.
That sounds tricky.
It was. They offered parallels to Quranic narratives, but Quranic scholars had to be incredibly discerning.
So they had criteria for what they'd use.
Absolutely. They had to carefully evaluate the authenticity and relevance.
That definitely shows a dedication to critical thinking.
It does. And another key concept that shaped the field is Akazul Quran, the inimitability of the Quran.
Akazul Quran.
Yeah, the idea that the Quran's style and eloquence are so unique, no human could produce it.
So it's a miracle.
Exactly. And this belief pushed scholars to explore its complexities even further.
Wow, fascinating. But I imagine this field didn't just stay the same over time, right?
You're right, it evolved. For instance, there was a shift in focus from tefsir to tertil.
From interpretation to recitation, what caused that?
It likely stemmed from the changing socio-political landscape. During the Prophet's time in Medina, the focus was establishing society based on Islamic principles.
Right.
But as Islam spread, there were new challenges, so the emphasis shifted to preserving the Qur'an's beauty and power through recitation.
So it helped maintain the Qur'an's message even during times of turmoil.
Exactly.
That's a really interesting insight. So Quranic sciences adapted to the needs of the time. Were there any figures or changes that were particularly important in that evolution?
Definitely. One notable example is al-Mala. He's known for integrating legal interpretations into his tefsir.
Al-Mala.
Yeah. It shows how the field broadened to address contemporary issues.
So it became a dynamic force evolving alongside the community.
Precisely. And it highlights the enduring power of the Qur'an and the dedication of scholars.
Wow, I'm already feeling a little overwhelmed by the sheer scope of it all. It seems like there's just so much to learn. I'm curious, what does this systematic approach mean for someone who isn't a scholar? How can we use this knowledge?
It's understandable to feel that way. Quranic science is a vast field, but that's also what makes it so captivating. Each branch offers a unique lens to view the Qur'an. And by exploring these lenses, you gain a much deeper appreciation for the Qur'an's richness and complexity.
So we've talked about the historical context, linguistic analysis, different readings. It's clear that Quranic sciences take a multifaceted approach.
Yeah.
But how does understanding this framework actually help someone engage with the Qur'an on a deeper level? What kind of insights can it offer?
That's a great question. For one thing, it helps you move beyond just reading the text at a surface level.
Okay.
You start to unlock layers of meaning that might otherwise stay hidden. By delving into the nuances of the language, the historical context, the different interpretations, it's like going from reading a book to understanding the author's mind.
I like that analogy, like becoming a literary detective. So it's not just about what the Qur'an says, but why it says it, how it says it, and what it meant back then.
Exactly. And that deeper understanding can really impact your relationship with the Qur'an. It allows you to connect with it on a more personal level, see its relevance to your own life, and draw inspiration from its wisdom.
Like the difference between admiring a painting from afar and understanding the techniques and emotions behind it.
Precisely.
That deeper understanding just enriches the whole experience. But I imagine this level of analysis can be pretty daunting for someone who's just starting out. Where do you even begin?
You know, the most important thing is an open mind and a desire to learn.
Okay, good advice.
You could start by exploring the branch that interests you most.
So if I'm drawn to the history of the Qur'an or its linguistic features or the different interpretations.
Exactly. There are tons of resources out there to guide you.
That's reassuring. It's like choosing a path through a vast forest.
Exactly. You don't have to explore every trail to appreciate its beauty.
Right. Start with one that calls to you and see where it leads.
That's the spirit. And remember, it's a journey, not a race. Take your time. Enjoy the insights. Don't be afraid to ask questions. The more you explore, the more you realize the depth and beauty of Quranic sciences.
You've definitely inspired me to dive deeper. It's amazing how much thought and care went into preserving and understanding the Qur'an.
It is. It makes you appreciate the text on a whole new level.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's not just about appreciating the past, but carrying that legacy forward.
Right.
Quranic sciences are a living tradition, constantly evolving.
Exactly.
It's up to us to continue exploring, seeking new insights, and sharing that knowledge.
Couldn't agree more.
So it's not just studying the Qur'an in isolation, but applying its wisdom to our lives, communities, the world around us.
It is. And that highlights the impact Quranic sciences can have.
It does. Our understanding of ourselves, our faith, our place in the universe.
A journey worth embarking on. A journey that can lead to a lifetime of discovery and growth.
Absolutely. This deep dive has been a real eye-opener for me.
Yeah.
What about you? What stood out to you the most in our exploration so far? What piqued your interest?
Well, perhaps the concept of kun emri,
Kun emri.
meaning be and it is. It speaks to the divine power of creation, and it has some fascinating connections to the Quran's description as a kitab, or book.
Oh, that's interesting. The written word itself holding creative power. That's something to think about.
It is, and it's just one of many thought-provoking ideas that emerge when you explore Quranic sciences. It's a field full of surprises waiting to be uncovered.
Well, this has been an incredible journey. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. We've only scratched the surface, but hopefully we've sparked your curiosity. There's a whole world of knowledge out there waiting to be discovered.
Absolutely.
So keep asking questions, keep seeking answers, and keep diving deeper.
It makes you wonder about the Qur'an itself, like, is it just a collection of verses? Or is there something more to it?
Ooh, I like where you're going with this. So we've talked about it as divine revelation, as a historical document, a linguistic masterpiece.
Right.
But are you saying there might be another layer, a more metaphysical dimension maybe?
Exactly. The Qur'an calls itself a kitab, a book.
Okay, a book.
But what does that really mean, What if the Qur'an is actually more like a blueprint?
A blueprint?
Yeah, like a blueprint of creation, the divine will made manifest in words.
Whoa, that's a powerful thought. So not just a book containing words, but a book existing as a word, like the divine command that brought the universe into being.
Exactly. And when you think about it from that perspective, it opens up a whole new way of understanding the Qur'an. It's not just a text to be read, it's a window into the very nature of reality.
Wow. So we've gone from deciphering a code to contemplating the source of the code itself, the underlying principles of everything.
Exactly. And that's what's so amazing about Quranic sciences. It always pushes us to question, to search for deeper meaning, to connect ideas in a way that helps us understand more.
That's what's so captivating about this deep dive. It's not just learning facts. It's like expanding our minds, challenging how we think and seeing the world in a new way.
Absolutely. That's the beauty of knowledge. It's meant to be lived, to be explored and shared. And Quranic sciences especially, they take you on a journey.
A journey.
Yeah, of intellectual and spiritual growth, a journey that can transform your understanding of yourself, your faith, of the world.
This deep dive has been incredibly inspiring. It's amazing how one text can lead to such a vast field of study, a field that's still evolving and challenging us after centuries.
It is remarkable. It shows the power of the Qur'an and the dedication of so many scholars who've worked to unravel its mysteries and share its wisdom.
Well said. I want to thank you for joining us on this incredible journey into the world of Quranic sciences. We've covered so much, from how carefully the text was preserved to the many different branches of study and the profound questions they raise about reality itself. But this isn't the end of our exploration. There's a whole world of knowledge out there just waiting to be discovered. So keep asking those questions, keep seeking answers, and keep diving deeper.
It's amazing, right, to think about all those layers of meaning in the Qur'an, all the scholarship.
It really shows you the enduring power of the Qur'an, inspiring study and reflection for centuries. And for you, as you explore these ideas, think about how enriching this knowledge can be to your own experience with the Qur'an.
You're so right. It's not just for scholars. It's about making that personal connection deeper. And, it strikes me that this framework, the way they systematize it, it actually makes the Qur'an more accessible, not less.
Exactly. It breaks it down into those different branches so it's not so overwhelming. You can explore the parts that speak to you most. And that can lead to some pretty amazing discoveries. Like, remember we talked about Akazul Qur'an, the idea that the Qur'an is inimitable.
Yeah.
It makes you look beyond the surface, appreciate the beauty of the language, the structure, the message.
It's like you're given this beautifully crafted puzzle box. Admiring it is one thing, but the real joy is in figuring out how it works, how it all fits together.
And that process of discovery makes you appreciate the artistry even more, the wisdom in it.
Absolutely. And remember, you're not alone in this. There are centuries of scholarship, commentaries, offering different perspectives to guide you.
So it's like joining a conversation that's been going on for ages.
Yeah.
Adding your own voice to it.
Precisely. And through that dialogue, the Qur'an stays alive, speaking to new generations, offering guidance for whatever challenges we face.
This deep dive has been so enlightening. Thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us, opening our eyes to the beauty of this whole field.
My pleasure. The most important thing to remember is that the Qur'an invites exploration, invites reflection. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Seek out different viewpoints and embark on your own journey of discovery. The rewards are beyond measure.
Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you'll continue to explore the world of Quranic sciences and discover the richness and wisdom waiting for you there.